Okay, again, thank you all so much for being here. We are live streaming, so to our live streaming audience of 6 people, thank you for being there. My name is Shay Davis. I'm the Civic Arts Manager for the City of Sugar Land. I'm also the liaison for the Music Advisory Board. Today, our board is going to be listening to public comment. So if you have a venue, if you're a musician, if you're a booking agent, our goal here is to listen to what it is that you think that the city needs to be focusing on, areas that you may have struggled. I know we've heard a lot from venue owners about difficulties they've encountered with booking certain type of music, about getting sound. The sound ordinance, I've heard quite a bit. But what we're gonna do today is public comment. You have 3 minutes. You'll come up to this microphone here and you'll have a conversation with our music advisory board about your difficulties. Feel free to also say things that are great, that are changing in the city. But after the 3 minutes is over, once we're done, we do wrap at 7, but once we're done, after we've heard everyone, if you do need to come back up to the mic, just raise your hand, we'll call you up and you can come back up to the mic for a second time. So if you do wish to have public comment today, if you would like to come and stand next to this podium, and we'll just go one by one. But before we begin, I'd love to introduce our Music Advisory Board. If you guys can go one by one, starting with our chair and working your way down, that would be great.
Hello and welcome. I'm Mark Winters.
Hi everyone, I'm Eric Estrada, I'm the Vice Chairman.
My name is Jalen Baker.
And I'm Ebony McFarland, the City Liaison to the Music Advisory Board.
Awesome. So if you guys want to get started again, all you have to do is stand next to this podium whenever you're ready, and we'll make that line, and then we'll get started with public comment. The floor is open for public comment. You're first, so you can come right up. All right, 2 seconds, I'll get the timer started.
Okay,
and
can you hear me out there? All right, well, first of all, thank you for opening this up. My name is Walter Suhr. I have a band called Mango Punch, and we have a long-standing relation with the city. We have played many times here at Town Center. We have played the Ardent Kite Festival. We even played during the pandemic for a virtual fall festival. But for some reason, you know, even though it was one of our favorite things to do, to play here at Town Center, we discontinued the relationship at some point, and we stopped doing that, and it was one of our favorite things to do. So we would just welcome the opportunity to perform again, because we always had like really successful turnouts when we did perform, and we would love to do it. But other than that, one comment that I do have is sometimes you, as the city, provide also the sound system. And sometimes for established bands like mine, where we prefer to play with our own system, you know, maybe our fee can be a little higher, but we prefer to work with our system that is already, you know, all our monitors are already set and everything is already in place, as opposed to having to work with somebody else's sound system that may sometimes it can get, you know, just lengthier time to set up monitors and such. So anyway, so I would definitely welcome the opportunity to come back. And other than that, my experiences every single time have been very positive. At the Ardent Kite Festival, that virtual performance, and here at Town Center. So we hope we can come back.
Walter, I had a quick question for you. Have you registered as an act in the Sugar Land area using the links from the Texas Music Office or Sugar Land?
I actually was not aware that that was part of the procedure, but I will certainly, if you indicate how I'm supposed to do that, I definitely want to, you know, be in line.
Yeah.
if you'll leave your information with me before you go, I can forward it to you via email.
Great. Okay. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Walter.
He's a friend. Or a not so friend.
Okay, we'd love to have next public comment.
Giancarlo, are you getting up to talk?
Yeah, come on, Carlo. What? Are you coming?
What do you want? Are you going to talk?
do I need to, okay. So sorry, I did not know this was so formal. I don't have anything really prepared. I just have a couple of talking points. But my name is Lauren Sowell. I am a singer. I live here in Sugar Land. I have a couple of bands. I have a band called Flashback. I have a band called Thunder Pants, and I also have a band called La La Rocks. And we also used to play a lot here in Town Square before they changed management companies of Town Square back when it was PCD. And then we kind of lost that person contact as well. But then we were told that they only hire tributes, and they were only going to do music once a month. But anyway, so that's a separate thing. I'm also an anthem singer. I sing at all the events whenever I'm called, Constellation Field, stuff like that. Anyway, to my talking points. Sugar Land is starving for live music. It is extremely difficult to find live music anywhere here in town. If you Google live music in Sugar Land, only 3 venues show up. Smart Financial, Town Square, and Baker Street. And that is sad to me. I am a business owner myself. I own Double Dave's in Missouri City. We try to have live music there twice a week, every week. Our issue is that hosting live music is extremely expensive. You not only have to pay the person playing, but you also have to pay all of the PROs once a year. We have a fairly small establishment. We're only 85 capacity, and we pay over $4,000 a year to the 3 PROs just to have live music once a week. And I think it would be nice if the city could somehow help or incentivize or alleviate that cost for these businesses so that they feel more inclined to have live music more often. Public venues that people can go to. I'm not talking about like private ticketed stuff and not 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. Maybe things that people can go see with their families, like Town Square, like Oyster Creek Park. You know, there's a stage there that used to be used, but nobody ever uses it anymore. There are lots of stages around town that could be used for these things, and I think that would be really nice to have. Just and make sure that we use local talent. And I myself did not know about the database that you mentioned to him to register my bands or anything like that. It's very hard to find any information for live music in Sugar Land. So there's that. I know my time is up, but I also tried to join the advisory board a long time ago. I sent you an email back in August.
Leave your email with me,
Yes.
so then we can send you the registration information as well. And anyone who wants to sign up, please leave that information after the meeting with me, and we'll reach out to you personally.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything? Okay, thanks.
That's right. Next public comment. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Yes, please.
Hi, my name is Veronica Cantu, and I really don't have a comment, but I just wanted to introduce myself. I am the new general manager at Smart Financial Center. So this is my 3rd week on the job, drinking from a fire hose at this point. But you have a really great city here, and you have, the people here and the residents here are great. So thank you so much for having us. But I do second your opinion because I come from Austin, and live music just in restaurants would be amazing. So I second that. I don't know if this is a place to talk about. I could use help with parking. I can use help with other things, so just let me know. But, well, I did have someone come out on my first show on Friday to see parking. I know that where I've witnessed where we can have some help is probably in just digital signage and direction. I did talk to my contact with the city yesterday and just ask what we can do there. But that would be great. Another thing that I could use help in, and it was We had a lot of vendors come out that weren't a part of the tour. So t-shirt vendors and food vendors that are around the venue. And that can pose to be some liabilities there. So any help or advice there would be great. But besides that, thank you for having me, and just wanted to introduce myself. Elizabeth, Huff, yes, yeah. And we've met several people from the city, but if you know, if there's somebody else we have to take it to.
Sorry.
Okay.
I did have a follow-up question as well. Veronica, one of the things that we're looking to do is to promote Sugarland artists as well as Sugarland venues.
Yeah.
And so just curious if you have any plans to incorporate local artists in any of the shows that you're providing through Smart Financial Center.
You know, I can't speak for Smart. I can just speak from my past life. I come from Moody Center in Austin. When we're able to, we did do an outside pre-party in which we incorporated local talent. Where we had challenges was people getting there early, and of course the heat. So if we can't get there people early enough and we can't protect them from the heat, that's why we didn't continue. I haven't looked at that option here yet. I'm certainly open to if there is an opportunity.
We'd love to stay in contact with you and find opportunities for local artists. That's one of the points for the registry, to have, great venues like you guys and a registry for the artists in the community.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for having me.
We would love to take the next public comment. If you guys have anything, come on, Juan Carlos. I see it.
Can I touch this? How's it going? Hey, gang. Who's from Sugarland? Raise your hand. What are the rest of y'all doing here? Get out! I'm kidding. Nothing, just saying hello. We've met. Should I give my card to anybody? That's all I have with me. I don't know if I have enough to go around. For those of you who don't know me, Giancarlo, that's me. My band is the Matchsticks, and really it's not much of a band because it's just me and a drummer. Because I play a crazy instrument. The Chapman stick is bass and guitar. I also sing. So I'm the singer, the guitar player, and the bass player, and the harmonica player, and the... Anyway.
And you're a really cool dude.
Opinions vary on that one. But yes, I get to play every now and then and double days, so I got my girl here to vouch for me. You're the best. Man, this is loud. Am I driving? Sorry. Give me a second. I'm trying to remember what I wanted to say. Oh, yeah. So, hey, gang, whether you're from Sugarland or not, do your best to try to come out and just support the Sugarland Town Square. I don't know if... Did anybody see my post? God, losers. Did anybody see my awesome post on Facebook? Oh, nobody uses Facebook. That's my fail. I got to do it on Instagram. Yes, I went to go see some friends. Played here recently, the Free Radicals. Who booked them? Anybody here booked the Free Radicals over there? No? They're gone already? Anyway, good friends from long ago. We got to reconnect, and so I posted a nice thing. It's cool. So yeah, I recommend it. Anybody come out, hear some different music. And if anybody doesn't know Free Radicals, they're different, just to put it mildly. They're not like your run-of-the-mill. But I can also definitely recommend Mango Punch if anybody has not seen them. They have a Guatemaliness that will get inside of you. Anyway, yeah, they're killer. And look forward to playing some more in Sugarland and any opportunity that presents itself. We shall see. Thank you. Thank you. I said thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
John Carlos, I had a follow-up question for you. What do you think the city can do to better provide opportunity for musicians like yourself to perform in the area?
I don't know. The Better Block initiative that's going on, I think, is definitely a thumbs up, is going in the right direction. So that, I think, is fabuloso. And, really it's just promo, I guess, just promoting. And nowadays, so much of that is online. But, maybe, I don't know if I can't recall if I've seen an ad like in the community impact that people get in the mailbox. It says like this month at Town Center, or, live music in Sugarland, here it is. Or I see a lot of, I know I always see a page of like openings and closings of different venues or whatever, or stores or shops and stuff. So maybe somewhere in there put like, hey, music fans, check out these local slobs. Thanks, guys.
Okay, we're open to take next public comment.
My name is Michael Poindexter, and I've been to a couple of the music days here. I really appreciated it. A minute ago it was mentioned, get the information out on the internet. Well, that means a lot of things to a lot of people. If you follow one but not the other, you can miss a substantial amount of your audience. I'm not socially connected at all outside of LinkedIn, so I'm pretty certain you're not going to advertise there. But I have been to the music days here, and I've really enjoyed that. But when I go to the Sugarland site, there's like almost no information. This past time, there was not a lineup of the bands. At least I didn't see it. I missed the Matchsticks, unfortunately. So, I showed up 45 minutes late. If I had known that, I would have gotten there at 9 and not 9:45. The other thing is the venues that you've picked, and this is Sugarland, it's hot in the summertime, and by April, it's getting pretty warm. And 2 years ago, when you had it out here in the square, there was maybe 10 people. I was one of them. I stuck it out for about an hour and a half, and I sat in the shade off to the side. It wasn't that I wasn't interested in seeing the band, but it was so hot. I know it's probably premature, but if you could have a venue to where you had shade for your audience, maybe at least the first 200 get a tent of some sort or an awning, I think you'd have maybe more people if you had better advertising, and you had, there was no refreshments there either. If you wanted something, you had to go over to Starbucks and grab your own cold drink or bring it with you. So I think if you're going to entice people and get them out into the heat, then you need to make it maybe a little bit easier. Because I was thinking, if you're up in north, and music day is the same day all over the U.S., right? So I was thinking how lucky they are up north where it's cool. They didn't plan this around Texas venues, particularly a Texas venue outside and one that doesn't have any shade. And that day there was one brave lady sitting out all by herself, and she sat there in the heat and just enjoyed it and clapped. But I was like, there's other people like her, I think, if you just made it inviting. So anyway, I've enjoyed what you put on. I think it's a beginning. I didn't even know there was such an advisory board, so thanks for getting the word out, and all the best to you.
Free ice cream. Free ice cream.
Comment?
I don't have anything like formally prepared. My name is Emmanuel Cleophas Tucker. I'm an opera singer, but I'm also in a rock band. And I think you mentioned like what's something that maybe the city could do to like kind of help local acts out. I think that the Houston comedy scene's done a pretty good job of having even just one venue like the Secret Group, where they have open mics every single night that start at 11 or 12. And you get to see every kind of act. I know it's really late, but gives people time to get out and do stuff. And then kind of like an anecdote, when I was in high school, we had Fitzgerald's in the Heights, and I was there like pretty much every night, kept me out of trouble, and I think it's kind of important to have spaces like that so that, youth stays out of trouble, but also bands get an opportunity to show off their thing. It builds community, things like that. So that's like my 2 cents. I don't really have much else to say. But yeah.
Mr. Go ahead. Do you live here in Sugarland?
I don't. I grew up close by though, so I grew up in Harlem Clark.
Okay,
And yeah.
just curious. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, curious, any of your band members in the Sugar Land area either?
No, but I have quite a few friends who live in the Sugar Land area, and I'm here fairly often.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think that's something, getting the word out to your friends to register with the city allows the city and venues to look them up, genre specific, and provide opportunity for them in the area for sure.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Thank you. And we're open for next comment. If anyone wants to yes, thank you.
Hi, Debbie Leo, lived in Sugar Land for 37 years, and am delighted to see more of the arts come in. The last attendance that we had visual arts coupled with the music, and that was really great. Really, I think, brought in a whole lot of artistic energy that was just fantastic, and I'm deeply appreciative of that. I'm not knowledgeable about the expertise of the musicians. Is it, what is a professional? What is an amateur? How do they, what is the status? Because I think there's a lot of folk who may not be, quote, professionals who are gifted, who it would be great to hear and, have in that setting as well. So I don't know how you go about that, but I think the invitation to have different levels of people, and I'm sure there has to be some sort of audition, would be fantastic. But this is just fabulous, and I'm excited because I live over by the Lake Point redevelopment, and that space, please, I hope, will have the green area and the green space for this kind of thing, which I think will prove to be an excellent place for these kind of occasions. So I look forward to hearing more about this, and will give you my name because I want to hear more about what's going on. Thank you.
I'm going to ask you, what's your name?
And we can take next public comment. If anyone wants to respond, give suggestions, and by all means, if your idea is, and I invited people from outside of Sugar Land as well, who are in the music industry, who have seen successful things, please come up, give us ideas. We're open to feedback as long as questions. All of that is 100% up for grabs today, so I would love to see you. Yay, thank you.
Hi there. I'm Sarah Kuo, and I live in Sugar Land. Let's see. I'm a classical trained pianist from New York City, but I've lived in Sugar Land for 13 years. So I've also been an accompanist for the Fort Bend ISD middle and high schools for almost 10 years. And I'm currently as a music director, Redeemer Presbyterian Church in Sugar Land. And I started a Heart for the Arts concert series in 2023, right after the pandemic. And we had our second Heart for the Arts concert this past June. And it was a huge success. We collaborated with local musicians in Sugar Land and Missouri City, as well as a pianist from Houston Ballet and another pianist from New York City who teaches at the Juilliard School. We had over 160 people attend, and we also, for both of the concerts, we had local businesses involved for a live auction who came, and we raised some funds for that. And it was so great, and we had so much fun, we wanted to bring it to the public square. So the concerts were held at Faith Lutheran Church off Brook Street, and so we're thinking, well, for the third time, and it's biannual, we thought it'd be great to do it in Town Square somewhere. So I guess the needs are a venue for this pop-up Heart for the Arts concert we'd like to do next year, and biannually we'll do a bigger one, and a list of places to advertise and possibly promote. So it's sort of integrating faith in the arts and also bringing local musicians to the forefront and collaborating with Houston musicians and other cities. So, yeah.
So I want to chime in on this one, and I'll stand up. So if by any chance, so as you already know, I'm a city employee, and all of them are on the board for the city. Reeby's is not the city, which is Town Square. That isn't city property. We don't book it. We don't have any control over it. We don't have any control over the bands that play there, any of it. Every once in a while, we'll rent the space as a city, and we'll put on stuff there, which make music day, things like that. That is my division. But the bands, the booking, all of that is actually not city at all. It's owned by Reeby's, who actually owns Town Square. So to make that a little bit easier, if you go to the Town Square website, they have a calendar there. You can submit on that website to host an event there, but unfortunately, the city does not run Town Square at all. A lot of people don't know that, but if by any chance you want to rent it and you do have difficulty getting in contact with us, you can reach out to me and Ebony. We can 100% make sure that's a smoother transition, but we actually don't own the space. We rent it too. So just to kind of clear that up, I know a lot of people are like, I want to get in Town Square. I would love for you to be there, but we don't own Town Square at all. The booking doesn't go through us. It goes through a management company. Sweet.
Great, thanks.
I had a follow-up for Sarah. Thank you for sharing your story and for hosting local Sugarland-oriented music programs in your area here. Besides the venue, what else can the city do to help bring more awareness to your music programs or music programs in the area in general?
Yeah, I think promotion, also other musicians to collaborate with. We're open to, auditions and getting to know other musicians who'd be interested in putting on these free concerts for the public. So I think that would be great. And just talking to someone who works, I guess, in the advisory board, because I didn't even know this existed, is also a help to know that there's actually people who are working towards building the arts right here in Sugar Land. So that's really exciting. So all of that's great. Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Okay, next public comment, suggestion, feedback, ideas, anything like that. I really feel like you want to come up here. Every time I make eye contact, you like, do I not? You should.
How you all doing? This is my first time at a city council meeting, so my name is Trey Sanders. I'm the CEO founder of Counterculture Management. We are an artist management company, and we also specialize in event production and strategic partnerships. We've collaborated with brands such as Def Jam, Warner Records, Revolt TV, and so many more. My question is more so about funding related. If you all are in the process of creating any sort of grants to help support artists, I think grants are very important because a lot of artists struggle, like pretty much everyone here said, marketing and promotion, and then going about it properly, because there's a certain way you have to do it to really grow your audience, get people to come to your shows and so forth. So that's my first question. And then I wanted to also talk about festivals. Particularly, I came in 2023 to a festival called Honeyland. Very important. I think a lot of people had mixed feelings about Honeyland, but I did see a seed being planted, and I didn't see Honeyland return this year or last year. So I'm just a little curious about what you all have in store for as far as festivals. Yeah.
So thank you, Trey, for coming out. Are you a resident in Sugar Land as well?
Pearland, yeah.
Pearland, okay, gotcha. Some resources you might think about. The Texas Music Office is sort of the guiding light for this advisory board and the Make Sugar Land Music-Friendly initiative. And there are a number of grants that are available through the Texas Music Office. I know several people have taken advantage of those. If you want to know more about that, you can hit me up, because I've done quite a few of them. And there are some other grant resources as well that I can help connect you with. Festivals, I'd say that's something, we have the Sugar Land Music and Arts Festival. That is a private affair, but is a festival in there. There's 2 or 3 other ones. besides Honeyland, is there another festival that you remember from being in the area that isn't coming back that maybe we can work on?
I'm sorry?
Is there another festival besides the one you mentioned that was going to be in the area that didn't come back, that maybe we can do some outreach to see if if we can make it more friendly for them to come back here?
Not off the top of my head. That was the most recent one that I've been to. I've been told that there's been other jazz festivals, things of that nature. But yeah, Honeyland is the one I'm most familiar with.
So we did have Honeyland, and then we did have Sweet Beats and Eats and Jazz Fest, and they come every year. So Honeyland isn't a yearly festival, it's actually biannual. So it actually comes every 2 years. So the goal is to have Honeyland back next year as opposed to the last two. It's a pretty big festival. So the goal wasn't to have it every year, it's like every 2 years. So we're hoping to bring Honeyland back for 2026. So the news on that's gonna be upcoming, and the reason for it is the place where they had it, Crown Festival Park, as you can see, it was flooding that weekend. So there are some divots and some renovations they wanted to do based on kind of what happened there, and using that 2 years to do some renovations to that space. But the goal is to have Honeyland 2026. So I do want to encourage you to kind of stay on task with that. Also reach out to Mark and the rest of us as well for grants. We did Summer of Sound last year, which was a civic arts festival. It was all local artists. We booked 7 different genres over a total of 7 weeks. The last one we had 3 bands, and they were all local artists to the area, and we accepted those artists through our roster. So I would love to get your information. I actually know you. I would love to get your information, like your actual email, because I think we follow each other on Instagram. I would like to get your information so I can actually send you that, and then the bands that you work with, you can upload them, and then as we go through, we can contact you for booking on those things as well.
For sure, it sounds great. Definitely want to connect, and I'm sure there's ways I can help enrich the local music scene in Sugar Land. So looking forward to it. Do any of you all have any more questions for me? Good. All right, thank you.
Okay. I know you too. You want to come up and talk? Is there any other public comment? I think I know you too. Look, if there is anybody, we definitely can redo. Come on.
Okay, this is something that I'm just ignorant as to whether or not the city has already done or not, but it was giving me an idea we were talking about. Has the city ever done events where it just focuses on a particular culture or style of music? That's already happening, I would imagine, right? Like there's already like I'm sure, Indian event, that we have such a big Asian population. So all that's already going on.
Yeah, they do it in a variety, they do it in a sporadic. I mean, here's the thing about it though, and this is just being transparent, is funding is an issue for like everything, right?
I hear you.
So by all means, like they celebrate AAPI and they'll do like an Indian festival. I believe they did a Bollywood festival. They did a Tejano festival, Jazz Fest. So they do break these things down, but there's not guaranteed funding for year to year for performance art in the city of Sugar Land right now. So no, for any genre. So there's not guaranteed funding. We are not going to be putting on Summer of Sound again next year. We don't have guaranteed funding for that. And just like every city, just like the schools, there's not guaranteed funding for the arts in the city at all. So
that's okay. It'll make us more like Austin that way. There's no money.
So the hope is things like this gives us ideas on not just things that we could be doing as far as like, you know, with Town Square and things. It's like, what can we take to council and say, hey, the community's asking for this. Our music industry is asking for this. How can we start guaranteeing funding? And you just showing up shows them that you care about it, and it's something that we can take to them and they can consider.
But you know, I'm sure you guys know that Fort Bend County is one of the most diverse counties in the nation. So I'm sure it would probably be a hit. What, am I being recorded? So, yeah, you know, I think that's, we all have good ideas going in the right direction, and so funding detail, you can be like the venue owners in Austin, just tell the artists like, hey, sounds great, put your tip jar out there and good luck. You know, worst case.
And that's what we don't want to do. We don't want to do that. We don't want you playing off tips, right? Like, we don't want that. We already did that. We're too old for that.
What is this we thing?
If you drove here, you're too old to be playing for tips. All right, do we have anyone else who would like to make public comment suggestion? Yes, please.
Keep going through the rest of my
Keep going.
stuff. Hi, I'm Lauren Sowell again. Okay, to make a comment, somebody mentioned the Fine Arts Festival. My band was one of the ones that played in 2023. It was crazy hot. I was 9 months pregnant. Yeah, it was rough, and it wasn't really public. So it wasn't really like a city arts fest. So I thought that was silly. So I know, and you've already mentioned it, that Town Square is not owned by the city. I think that is a catastrophe, which is strange considering that City Hall is literally here. Is there any way that the city can work with the owners of Town Square so that they can share dates and be able to use and provide the stuff without having to rent it? I mean, that's so silly. And if that's an absolute, not going to happen, what's the alternative? There's playing at Smart Financial, but there's, all due respect, there's no public stage. And then Oyster Creek Park. Yeah, there's a stage. It's rocks on the floor, and there's water in front of it. So there's that. Or is the venue being built? Is it coming soon with Lake Point? Is it in the works to be built somewhere else? Somewhere that we can have music as a public venue for places. And then where are the known live music venues in town? Baker Street, Pacific Coast Tacos, I don't know if they still do live music. Little Woodrow's, it's great, they've been getting more music there. Town Square, Talliard is trying to start live music. Scholars and Scoundrels, I guess they're still doing something, but their stages are small. They don't have good budgets. And I'll tell you, I'm really tired of having to drive to the Woodlands and Katy and Kemah and downtown for my gigs. It is awful. But they're thriving, and there's music everywhere. I play it at like 6 different venues in the Woodlands, and they're all just in Waterway. So there's that. 4th of July, please, can we have those at the festival grounds and not at the ballpark anymore? And no more ticketed events for those kinds of things, especially when music is involved. Like, keep them public. And I've been a longtime Sugar Land resident. Bring back Sugar Fest, please. Let's, like a city festival for everybody to be at. Yeah, I think those are my points. But yes, I think I wrote here that Sugar Land is becoming a sleepy, boring town that young people and families don't want to spend money in. Where was it? It was here. Oh, wow. It was here before Town Square was built. Yeah. It was literally here. And then Town Square was built. And then Sugar Fest disappeared. It was something that I looked forward to when I was in high school. I think Town Square was built maybe in 2004, 2005. Does that sound correct? But yeah, it hasn't been done since then. But I remember having a whole lot of fun. It was a volunteer thing for high school kids. They were the labor. They were the help, for the entire thing. But it was very much a city initiative. And I just don't think we have a lot of come together as a city thing here in Sugar Land anymore, especially when it has to do with arts or music or anything. I think everybody just stays at home or goes somewhere else, So, yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for that. That was super helpful. Okay, we have 15 more minutes. We can take at least 2 or 3 more public comments. I would love to hear you guys' opinions, your thoughts. I would love to hear from you, Anna, if you have anything. I know you got ideas. So if you guys have any public comments, I would love to hear those. If you have any questions that you want us to answer, also, please feel free to ask those as well over the next couple minutes.
We love ideas too. If anybody has an idea for something.
Come on, Anna. Longtime resident and city maven.
Okay. Oh, okay. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Anna Glaze. I am a staff member with the City of Sugar Land. I'm actually an executive assistant here, but that doesn't stop my excitement and passion for getting involved in a lot of other different things that maybe are not within my job description, but still really passionate. Before I entered local government, I was involved in performing arts, and so working with the Hobby Center was where my last employer was at. And so a passion of mine is cultivating the arts. And so I've been having more conversations with Ebony and Shay about just how we can continue to not only promote externally about all the things that the City of Sugar Land is really thinking about and being innovative about, but internally as well. I think even as a staff member, sometimes I feel like we get inundated with a lot of information. And so I think making sure that this is still being at the forefront of what is being promoted within the organization and within our own staff is super key. And so I just want everyone here to know that from the inside, we're really trying to bridge those gaps and ensure that that civic arts continues to be something that we care about. I think there's a lot of value to the arts, and I think it is a key component to a successful and thriving city. We definitely don't want to be forgotten or become boring and lame. We do not want that, right? And I think even for some of us staff members who are up and coming leaders or up and coming, we have young families or who are just starting out our careers within public service, seeing that this is a really key area for growth is really important. So I hope that you know that I'm trying to do my part and maybe even a little bit above and beyond that, but the city sees you, and I hope that that you just continue to be hopeful that we do see you, we recognize you, and we're trying. It's not always easy. It's not always the most exciting thing, but the people here in this room make it really exciting. And so keep coming to stuff. I encourage all of you to still keep us in mind a lot for support. So yeah, that was it.
Thank you, Anna.
Okay, so we have about 12 minutes left, and in this amount of time, I would love to talk to our board, and I'm kind of putting them on the spot a little bit, but if we can go down kind of and discuss really what it is that you guys would like to see in your next upcoming year on the board, kind of change along, especially with what they were mentioning, and some things that you would like to tackle. I know we've all individually kind of had this conversation, and even most recently me and Eric, but I would love to kind of hear from the board, like what is it on this next year in your duties that you kind of like to see change, especially in response to what it is that they've mentioned today?
So I guess one of the big things that I always try to be mindful of is that I tend to be a big advocate for musicians that are even younger than I am. So I'm thinking college students moving back to the Houston area who are phenomenal musicians, who are from here, who don't necessarily feel like they can build a career in Houston or Sugar Land or really just this section of where we're at. And I think having lived in Chicago, I spend a ton of time in New York currently. One of the things that those two cities do very well is that they build stars locally. These aren't people who are maybe they're not touring worldwide or whatever, but within their communities, they tend to really pour into specifically young musicians, which makes those young musicians feel like this is a place to lay down roots, you know what I mean? So that doesn't happen too much in Houston, in the greater Houston area, and I think Sugarland is obviously an extension of that. But I think one thing that I would love everybody to think about is, how do we get the youth to feel as though that this is a place to move to and stay? Because in my opinion, almost every great artistic movement that's ever happened throughout the world, at least in this country, has started with young people. And it also will end when young people stop showing interest. So doesn't mean that those are the only people that get to perform, but I think when we're programming things, it's okay to have people who maybe aren't quite as established or who you don't know yet or whatever, and it shouldn't be all these hoops that you have to jump through to make $100 at a performance. So, you know, just I would love anybody who, maybe if you have resources or you have a venue or you know of venues that are programming, to encourage them to put some young people who are hungry, like maybe literally and mentally, like to really want to play. And usually they're very fiery and they're very passionate. And I think it's important that we make sure that, that we embrace that type of artistry, especially when they're moving back from college and they're like, well, I'm only gonna be here for 6 months until then I'm gonna go to New York and overpay for an apartment. So, you know, we wanna try and retain as many of those young people as we can.
Well said. As a longtime Sugarland resident myself, I'm also an original artist and I perform in places all over the world and sort of seen lots of different cities and tour situations and whatever else. It always astounds my wife, the same as Lauren. You've got to drive so far away to play to an appreciative audience. Regardless of the style of music that you have. And I'm super, I know I've talked with these ladies, I'm super passionate about Sugarland in particular. I know Houston sort of extends down here, but I'm a bit myopic. I really want Sugarland itself to find its musical roots. And I think having an appreciative audience in Houston, or in Sugarland, and an appreciative and a well-delivered program is something that we lack in the area. And so I love the concept of festivals and broad offerings that have beginning musicians and more established musicians collaborating together in building an enjoyable experience for the residents of Sugarland. I think that's important for me, and it sort of makes me wonder why we don't have better programming and community programs that sort of come together around an interest and a program that meets the interest for those people. So I'm very passionate about trying to promote, venues or festivals or events in the city that have that collaborative spirit to give people a home, but also, people want to come out to it. And that's one of the things I really love. And I'm kind of vibing with everyone else on this whole Sugarland Town Square thing. It really feels like a city program. I think that's the way the community perceives it, but it's not, and so it creates friction. And I think we've talked about the Sugarland Arts Festival. I was able to curate a bunch of artists, into the Sugarland Music and Arts Festival last year that were actually local. So it's a surprise. And so I think for me, finding events like that, like the Sugarland Arts Festival or the Jazz Festival or Town Center, and try to have some more influence over how the community perceives that and how the city can provide more local artists that are taking advantage of the residents that are here, right? And so, I think finding a way to make that sort of connect, I'm not sure where the disconnect is. Maybe with Smart Financial Center, we can also find some of that community awareness, because the community's coming together to support it. Touring acts coming through their facility. Is there a way that we can work, the local connection as well for local artists? So I'm super passionate and myopic about Sugar Land, and I'd love to see us come together around 2 or 3 big initiatives that the city can more collaborate with, so that we get that connection and that sense of community.
Can I add something really quick? I know you had mentioned, and I'm sorry if I'm interjecting, I know you had mentioned talking about the sign up, and I just want to make sure that this is recorded. Could we make sure that that link and that sign up is made somewhere on socials or somewhere on the website, so that it is very forward facing for people right now, and that it can be picked up by search engines like Google and stuff like that, so that it can be found if somebody types it in? That would be very helpful, at least for like contractors for bands and stuff like that to use.
And so I want to keep in mind with that. So it is on our social media. It is on our website if you go to the Civic Arts link, but that is just for Civic Arts, right? Like, so just Civic Arts books from that roster. If another department reaches out to us and they say, hey, can you suggest a band? We give them access to that roster. But this is really just our initiative. So if Parks does, they do Fall Fest, they don't have to book from that roster. They have their own. So that doesn't really guarantee, really honestly, any kind of outreach. This is something we're building. The roster
There should be a single repository for the city.
I wish it was. This is, again, this board is 10 months old.
Yeah.
This is a new initiative. This is something that we're trying to get to, which is why we're having this conversation. But we don't even have funding for next year. So these type of conversations are, how can we even afford to hire you guys? So I think one of the things, and I hate to take in, Eric, I'll give you your space in a minute. I've been a professional musician since I was 17 years old. I've toured all of those things as well, which is why I started the board, because I see the gap. But we have to put the work in. Everybody has to show up. Everybody has to make known what it is that they hope to see, and then we have to wait. It's not that quick. This board took me 18 months to put together. It took another 6 months to get approved through council, and it took another 3 months just to have our first meeting. Now we're just now getting public. So these are things that, like, it may take my whole life to get right. It may. I mean, I'm just going to be honest. I may never eat the fruits under this tree, right?
We'll push it for you.
I mean, I've been in the city for 3 years, and we are just having our first public meeting.
Yeah.
So this is just not a quick process. And, even us getting the application process up, we got that up. We got 116 applications this year alone.
We, the city, all on the same page.
And it's unfortunately, me and this woman here, Ebony, we go through every single one of them ourselves. We we contact people. We don't have the division that put all this together. Is me and her. That's it. We don't have a staff, nothing. So although we're hungry for it and we want it to happen and we want you guys to show up, we are literally doing this blood, sweat, and tears. And so we love when you guys reach out and say, hey, we can't find the link. We put it wherever we can put it, and then when you tell us you didn't see it there, we put it there too. So please keep giving us that feedback, but it's not as quick as just, oh, I'm on the link so I'll get a gig. It doesn't even work like that. So right now we don't even have funding for next year, and so these type of things.
That's why you have a board of volunteers.
Exactly. So that's the goal,
and I
right?
volunteer as tribute. I will help. I will come join.
Please, seriously, we need y'all to show up in troves and really show them that this matters to you guys as much as it, we know, we are aware, but I don't think outside of our industry, the people who appreciate the music don't necessarily appreciate the artists behind it, or the work that the artists are putting in. And this is kind of how we're going to show them what that looks like.
Yeah.
So by all means, please keep it up. I love it, but tell us what you need. That's why, if you can't find the link, tell us where you're looking, because it's on our page. I mean, we just got a couple submissions this week, so we know people are filling it out, but where are you finding it? Where are they finding it at? How are you guys finding it? If you're having any issues, please just let us know. That's why I want your information personally.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, right now it's a very personal.
Yeah. Well, how I got hooked up with this music advisory board.
Yeah.
I went to the 100-year celebration that was held at Talliard, put on by the city of Sugar Land in celebration of the city of Sugar Land, and the band was from Shiner.
And see, we didn't even know.
It wasn't a city.
Yeah, no, we didn't know.
I think that's a point I want to make, that the community feels like events like that are city events.
Yes.
Just like when we walk through town center and there's a band playing.
Especially when all of there's council
10,000
members
people.
that are sitting there,
So there is a sense in the community that the city does own those events, right? And it's a very big frustration point. And so I think trying to address the city's ability to influence key events that are happening inside it can help alleviate some of that, because we know people are starving for great music in the city, and they go somewhere else for it, or they go to Smart Financial Center. That's pretty much it. And so I think trying to address that with some of the city's events that are occurring here, like I agree, Talyard.
And I had no idea the civic arts is separate from parks. You guys are pulling from different. I know Brianna. I've helped Brianna. Brianna called me out for 4th of July last year, 2 days before, on July 2nd, saying that the singer that they had for one of their bands got the flu and she needed a singer to do the anthem and a band, and she wanted me to put a band together in 2 days. And guess what? I did. But, I don't get called for regular gigs. I get called last minute stuff and put things together and make magic happen. We need the people. We need the repository. We need this in the city. And I think within the city, the departments need to work together with that stuff as well. And like you said, this is a baby board. But we are here to support you and help you.
Thank you.
We have a comment from Trey also.
Let's get him.
Yeah, just a quick idea. I know we were just talking about like funding. Just an idea, the old-fashioned way. Like, how do y'all feel about like taxing?
It's a sore subject in Sugar Land.
Like taxing, because if you had to count, like, you would have to examine the music industry here, like the flow of money, like how many big artists go to Smart Financial Theater to perform, how many venues have artists performing in those particular venues, and then you can just kind of calculate, you could do like a tax or something, and then that would give you some type of money,
Yeah. So I'll answer that for our division. Civic Arts can't take in funding. We're public art division. So everything that we do is free. So when we have Summer of Sound, any of the festivals we have are completely free. We can't actually charge tickets because we don't receive funding. The only funding we get is if the city decides that they want to fund a program that we have, then we have funding for that specific thing, but we can't actually take in any revenue.
That's what I'm talking about, like for the city.
Yes, I agree with you.
Yeah, not
so
like,
the goal is, as we kind of go through this and kind of show them what it is, it's kind of like the film tax credit, right? Once you actually establish your film community, you can actually apply through the Texas Films. You get that certification, and then you can actually start taking in tax revenue for films. You can actually take in film crews who can play for production and rental fees and things like that. That's what we're trying to get. Because once we can get this established, then we can actually start applying to receive tax credits. But right now, we don't receive that, so we're kind of at the mercy of developing good programming and applying for funding through the city. I 100% agree with you. There is obviously a music economy in every other city, which is what we're trying to get to. Is like, how do we get... There you go.
Just an idea.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's a good idea. I know, Eric, you had comment next. We just have a few minutes.
So just to kind of add on, I think there's a common theme here of, establishing the community, right? Because without that hub and that resource of knowing, who's doing what, who's motivated, who's inspired, who's willing, who's capable, right? It's kind of hard to put things together. I know this board is a great example of community. We each have our own communities. We do our own bookings and events and things like that. And if we get the chance to cross-pollinate, well then, it's even stronger. So I think we're a great example of that, and it's just going to take just some grassroots, getting the word out and finding other people and being consistent and going through the just kind of the initial blood, sweat, and tears of it. But once you have that hub established, I mean, I don't see any reason why Sugar Land can't be, as busy with music booked as anywhere else in the country, right? There's plenty of great musicians and spaces. It just takes that time, that effort to put it together and keep it going, right? So it's just, without the community, you don't have collaboration and consistency, and that's where it all starts. So that's what I'm really excited to learn about and help build that and cultivate it.
All right, Ebony, you can get ready to close us out.
Okay, I will end with, I fully agree, Lauren, with what you were saying about how the city, there we go, how the city needs to be more cohesive in its, event planning procedures and how we move and book and, sort of have those events. I was really hoping to have a lot of, or at least a representation from the venues, from Sugar Land, and I haven't heard that this evening. How they can sort of, how do we connect with them and put our well, I see you. And how do we connect these artists that want to perform, and where are you, and how do we connect you? How's the whole cohesive sort of venues, artists, the city, how do we do that? So I don't know, that's what we're doing. We're trying. This is amazing. Like I'm so excited about this, and we're sort of, we're going to expand our board and keep moving, and I think this is a great start. So.
Yes, thank you. And to kind of speak to what she said there at the end is we are expanding our board. It was just approved through City Council to expand our board to 9 members. That'll fill us out completely. So the application to join our Music Advisory Board will be opening in 4 days. So if you are interested in joining our Music Advisory Board, getting a seat up here and helping us to really kind of power this thing forward, please follow SL Civic Arts on Instagram. We'll be posting that application in the coming days. We are looking to fill this board up to 9 people. And that's really going to help us kind of get some momentum behind this. Also, we did invite several venues, and 1 or 2 showed up today. That's something that's super important to us as well. If you know a music venue and they're booking kind of the same bands, and that's not trying to throw shade, but like if they're booking the same band every Saturday, every single month, that's another one of those issues, right? Like where's that variety coming in, and how can we as a city motivate them to kind of try out new bands? So by all means, like I said, applications opening to join our Music Advisory Board in the coming days. We would love to have you guys join us. Again, follow SL Civic Arts on Instagram. We'll be posting that. The City of Sugar Land also will be posting that. And joining our board really just means your ideas get heard by City Council. We'll be able to kind of expand into more spaces, and it's so important. It's extremely important. So thank you guys, of course, for just being here today. If you want to stay a couple minutes, ask any questions from our board members. I don't know if you guys could stay out a couple minutes. Definitely get their information. Every last one of these people up here are incredible professional musicians, booking agents, city liaisons. Like these are incredible individuals to get to know. So you definitely want to get their information as well. And if you need anything else, you guys, like I said, follow us. You can definitely message me. If you already know me, don't message me. And y'all have a good night. Thank you again for being here.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Come on, Matchsticks, I see you. Come on up. Can't help yourself.
Hey, okay, so last thing I was going to say, I just got the idea, is that it's